Hello, my name is Yahya Ahwal.
My name is Mohamed Elgamal.
Today we will be going through our feminist analysis of Gabriel Garcia Marquez's books.
Gabriel Garcia Marquez is a Colombian author who has written many novels and short stories that explore many different themes and issues. However, The Last Voyage of the Ghost Ship, The Handsomest Drowned Men in the World, and Death Constant Beyond Love all explore how women are treated. As a result, by applying a feminist lens, which explores the binary between men and women, it is seen how these texts limit both masculine and feminine gender performances. According to Judith Butler, the patriarchy limits women as it confines them to caretaking roles and sets high standards for men that, if they fail to meet, would not be considered men. As such, through this line of inquiry, it is apparent that Garcia Marquez is able to portray the negative effects of patriarchy on both men and women in his short stories by highlighting the characters as constrained gender performances.
In Gabriel Garcia Marquez's The Handsomest Drowned Man in the World, the text reproduces typical gender roles by empowering men and giving women caretaking roles. After the kids found the dead man in the ocean, the men carried him to the nearest house as women stayed behind. The men went to find out if anyone was missing in the neighboring villages. The word carried emphasizes the harshness of the men's jobs as a result of the word being associated with physical action which is performed during hard labor. This characterizes the village as a patriarchal setting wherein men are expected to do the more labor-intensive jobs. Thus, men are given more labor-intensive jobs, leaving behind the women, limiting men to more masculine and physical jobs, and thus limiting them to masculine gender performances. As the men went off, the women stayed to care for the drowned man. They dressed, combed his hair, and cut his nails, and shaved him, and put some flowers on him. The use of words like dressed, combed, cut, and shaved connotes maternal performances, emphasizing the woman's nurturing and loving character. Flowers are also associated with delicacy and creativity, which are stereotypically feminine characteristics. This emphasizes the importance of such features and attributes in women's performance and roles. As a result, women are labeled as powerless and their influence is limited to simple tasks requiring sympathetic, loving, and caring personalities. Judith Butler shows how individuals create a performative reality that is assimilated into society by mentioning the customs and ideas of the social world around us. This reality, however, is a social construct that is more artificial than fiction. This is derived from models on Butler. As a result of adopting and perpetuating patriarchal ideas, men and women are constrained to specific roles as seen in Gabriel's short story. Overall, the text empowers men and confines women to caretaking roles, which reproduces typical gender roles. And what about The Last Voyage of the Ghost Ship, Mohammed?
Gabriel Garcia Marquez's Last Voyage of the Ghost Ship reproduces traditional gender performances by setting high standards for men and confining women to domestic roles. The boy in the story kept repeating the phrase, "Now they're going to see who I am." He fell asleep as he dreamt about the huge ship. He didn't want to share his determination with anyone. The repetition of "now they're going to see who I am" emphasizes the boy's determination, consequently characterizing him as obsessive and determined. Thus, the negative effects of the patriarchy on men is depicted as men feel an obligation to be more active and prove themselves by completing their goals. The APA states that setting high standards and expectations for men does appear to have a negative effect on them, as they become obsessed with the fact that they need to prove themselves and live up to these standards. Similar to the boy in The Last Voyage of the Ghost Ship. On the other hand, the boy's grandma always sat home, comfortable, where she could sit and think about her dead husband. The lexical choice of the words comfortable and sit emphasizes how the mother is doing nothing that involves labor, due to the word's connotations with relaxation. The setting is characterized as one which expects women to perform their stereotypical gender performances. The mother is also characterized as one who conforms to the patriarchy and goes about her stereotypical gender performances. Thus, it can be seen how the performance of women is limited to actions which do not involve any sort of labor.
By constraining female characters to domestic responsibilities and male characters to authoritative roles, the text reproduces normative gender performances in Gabriel Garcia Marquez's Death Constant Beyond Love. In the short story, the senator's wife is described as a radiant German woman, and she had given the senator 5 children, and they were all happy in their home. Senator Sanchez's wife is called out for her actions after being described as radiant, notably for giving birth to 5 children for the senator. Given that the word radiant means bright light, this could indicate that she is glorified for her mother duties. The phrase "she had given him" implies that, unlike the father, she has no ownership over her children, emphasizing her limited function as a mother. Furthermore, the line "they were pleased in their home" reminds the reader of women's traditional domestic roles and how they are limited to doing housework. The senator's wife is only mentioned once, emphasizing her insignificance and possibly implying that she is confined to her home, much like her life events are. As a result, a patriarchal setting is depicted in which women are degraded in status and viewed as instruments limited to serving and nourishing responsibilities. On the other hand, on the day of the electoral campaign, the senator was in the next room meeting with the important people. The lexical choice of the word "meeting" and "important" emphasize how the senator is doing work that involves complex responsibilities due to the word "meeting's" connotations with political and business discussions, and the word "important" emphasizing the significance and responsibility involved in the job. The setting is characterized as one which expects men to perform their stereotypical gender performances. The senator is also characterized as one who conforms to the patriarchy and goes about his stereotypical gender performances. Thus, it can be seen how the performances of men are often limited to those that revolve around complex responsibilities, such as political roles and jobs. According to David French, the patriarchy conditioned both men and women to have certain traits and qualities. For example, masculine attributes such as passivity, self-reliance, and logic are attributed to men, whereas feminine traits such as emotional sensitivity, selflessness, and relationality are attributed to women. As a result, a social belief emerges that men have an inherent right to dominate and women should be subordinate, selfless caregivers. This is evident in the story as the senator maintains an empowering position and so becomes dominant, whilst women are confined to caretaking roles. Overall, the text reproduces normative gender performances by giving females domestic responsibilities and giving males authoritative responsibilities. Overall, in his short stories, The Handsomest Drowned Man in the World, Death Constant Beyond Love, and Last Voyage of the Ghost Ship, Gabriel Garcia Marquez is able to depict the negative effects of the patriarchy on both men and women by highlighting the characters' gender roles. In the patriarchy, women are confined to caretaking roles, which may be interpreted by some that the patriarchy only affects women negatively. However, the patriarchy also sets high standards and expectations for men that they are forced to abide by, thus forcing them to behave in certain ways, so they are not frowned upon by society.